How you doing? This coffee break with Jimmy. Yesterday, I heard a podcast. Well, it wasn't a podcast. It was a debate between Chad Bianco and Steve Hilton, and it was a pretty good debate for the most part because actually they actually agree upon just about everything. The only thing is, like, Chad would say, well, Steve, you weren't here then, because Steve is a newcomer to the United States. I don't know how long. I guess he's been I think 15 years. He's or 10 years that he denounced the Great Britain because he is from Britain, and he denounced them and he became an American citizen. And he took the test and everything, and now he's a Californian, and he's running for governor. Well, he's got a lot of good ideas. I really believe a lot in Steve Hilton. In fact, he just got an endorsement from President Trump. But President Trump also liked this Chad Bianco. I mean, they both got similar ideas. Now, Chad Bianco, of course, he was a sheriff. He retired sheriff for Riverside County for 30 years. So he's had some experience from that standpoint. Steve's experience is from the political end, and he's worked as an advisor to different political, but mostly, really mainly the Republican Party. And he has a lot of ideas. Of course, they had a little bit of a difference on what was legal immigration and illegal immigration. Of course, Chad was saying that, and I feel the same way he does. I have people that I've known here for anywhere from 15 to 30 years, and they've been here for a long time. They may still be illegal. I don't know. I never asked them, but they speak English. They've been here this whole time. They've raised their children here. And so I can see where those people need to have something, renew their green card, whatever they have to do to keep themselves intact and to where they can be contacted at any time where everybody knows where they're at. I mean, that's the whole thing about being vetted and being in the United States and being vetted, so we know where you reside. If you're not a citizen, you want to become a citizen, take the test. Swear in to our way of life. Swear in swear into the Constitution, believing in the Constitution, our way of life, and assimilate to our way of life. That's what it's all about. If they don't, and I know Muslims can't, and I don't think Muslims, if you still want to believe in Sharia law and you still want to believe in the Quran, well, then you shouldn't be allowed to become an American citizen, because then you have two allegiances. You have the allegiance to the Middle East, whatever countries you're from, and you're a Muslim from there, and you still believe in the Quran and Sharia law. That doesn't exist here in the United States. I'm sorry. We have our laws here, and we have the way we live here. You have to assimilate to our way. You have the right to believe what you want to believe as far as religion goes, and I get that. But you still have to assimilate to our way of life. But the big thing is right now is whether Trump is going to bomb Iran again. He's given an ultimatum. They have to, by what would be 8 o'clock Eastern time, be 5 o'clock here in the West. So he'll be here in a couple hours. And he's talking about, if they don't come up with a deal, I'm going to bomb your electrical plants, all your plants, for energy, and they're going to start bombing bridges. Now they say this is a war. This is not allowed in war. Okay. They call this the War and Powers Act, where they can't do certain things in war, or you'll become a war criminal, and you have to testify and be, and that's what they're talking about Trump right now. Although they forget about whatever Obama did, and what Clinton did, and what Bush did, and Bush number 2, and what Biden did. I mean, come on, all these guys committed war powers. What do they call that? When they're illegal. The illegal strikes, and they're the War Powers Act, where you can't do certain things in war. But if these bridges are used to transport, tanks, ammunition, whatever, from one place to another, well, then that's part of the military of Iran. And now they're saying that they want to line the bridges with children and women and children, and same thing with these power plants, and do the same thing. Now, war isn't that illegal. What Iran has done for the last 47 years done that was legal. Everything they've done is illegal. Okay, they got their proxies, they got their Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis. They're all criminals and they're connected to Iran. So I agree, this does have to come to an end. But I like what Trump's doing. I liked what Trump did when he rescued our pilots. That right there really touched a chord there for most of us military people. Because that's something that we believe in. We bring everybody home. We don't leave anybody behind. And that was my last podcast. And I hope people understand just what Trump's all about, what his makeup is. And Iran has been threatening come on, we've talked about it, the big Satan, little Satan. Iran has been threatening to annihilate us, the United States and Israel for 47 years, okay? And so it hasn't been a time, instead of kicking the can down the road, taking care of it right now, and that's what Trump's doing. And when Iran is all over with, they will have a new leadership there. It won't be the clerics, it won't be the ayatollahs, it won't be them, okay? They won't, because they're still going to have the same belief. They can believe in the Quran, they can believe in all that stuff. That's their laws, that's their country. But they're going to have some kind of democracy, some kind of freedom that's going to be allowed to the people of Iran. And that's what they want more than anything. In fact, they've told President Trump to keep bombing because they want freedom more than anything else. And I think they understand collateral damage and what's going to happen, and that's just what's going to happen in order for them to get their country back. And it's been gone for the last 47 years since the ayatollahs, have taken over. So we'll see what happens there. There's a few more hours. I still don't know who Trump's talking to. Okay, I mean, he's gotten rid of 3 sets of leadership already. Have killed them all off. Is there any leadership there left for them to talk to, for Steve or Jared to talk to? I don't know, and I haven't heard of any leadership that. Of course, Trump knows. President Trump knows. He's got everything all dialed in. So we'll have to see what happens there. But I still don't know who he's talking to over there to make a deal. And to get rid of their power plants, that's going to be tough because it's going to be tough to rebuild all that. Bridges, I can understand, isolate them and their military in certain areas. They don't have any planes anymore, so they can't fly from one area to another. So that would isolate them pretty much. But as much as I hate it, but I know this is what we trained for, the Marines, the Army, all special forces, but the Marines mainly, we've trained for this. And and I know they got, 1,000 troops there, aboard the Tripoli, I guess the ship Tripoli. They got a bunch of Marines loaded up on that, and they can hit the land and put the boots on the ground. It may be what we have to do. It's not what we want to do, but it might be what we have to do. So we'll see what happens there. But in California, now I watch the debate. I told you about the debate between Steve Hilton and this Chad Bianco. And they pretty much agree on just about everything. I looked at the polls this morning, and Steve Hilton is ahead. He's up 19 points now. And Chad Bianco dropped down to 10, where he was 16 and Steve Hilton was 17. But now Eric Swalwell has actually gained some ground. I guess he's at 13% right now. Nobody wants Eric Swalwell, please. This guy's he's got about an empty head, just about like Kamala Harris. He's no better. He's not going to do any better. He's going to do the same damn thing that Gavin Newsom is doing, and he's destroying our state. We can't have Eric Swalwell. And then in second place, I guess, is 14%, is that Steyer, okay? Okay, he's a wealthy guy. He's putting a lot of money into this because he's a wealthy man, and he's paying his way. He's trying to buy himself into the governorship. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think Steve Hilton and Chad Bianco should join forces. Steve Hilton's already been endorsed by the president, okay? Maybe that's why he got a bump in the numbers. I don't know. But he had a good debate yesterday with Chad Bianco, and Chad did too. Both of them had a great debate. Of course, they got a little bit of testy against one another toward the end, but that happens in debate, right? Especially if one person believes one thing, one person believes another. When in fact, Steve and Chad both agree on about just about, I would say, 95% of the stuff that's ailing California right now. Was it Proposition 47? That's the big one that they're trying to get rid of. Of course, they enacted Proposition 38, which takes care of part of that, but not all of that. And I don't know exactly what the ins and outs are on Proposition 47, but I know it's supposed to be something that's pretty bad for the state of California. We have plenty of oil here. We have 28 oil refineries closed since 1987 or 1982. We can need to reopen those oil refineries, start producing our own oil, start making our own money, start cutting taxes, Inflation here in California is on. I mean, it's up to the Democrats. The Democrats they've created every problem we've had. They say the last 16 years we've been running by Democrats. No, I say more like 30 years. Okay, I've been around here for 65 years, and I've understood politics at least for the last 30 years. Okay, and this is one thing I do understand is California has been run by Democrats for probably the last 30 years. So we got to get. I mean, if something doesn't work, you're going to keep bringing it back. Let's get rid of the Democrats. Let's see what a Republican governor can do and see what a good leader, let's use the template of President Trump. I mean, look what he has done as a leader of the United States. He's done some things that most people wouldn't have done that he's doing anyway because that's the right thing to do. I think Steve Hilton might have the same, might be built around the same template that President Trump has built, okay? And they like one another, and I know a lot of his policies. Steve Hilton likes a lot of Trump's policies, so we can wait and see what happens. But I think we got to look at that, and we definitely have to vote. We have to enact that Save America Act. That has to be passed, so we can have legal voting here instead of just voting how the Democrat. And this is something Steve Hilton gets, but this illegal immigration where they actually give them some type of identification to where they can actually vote for themselves. And of course, when they do all this harvesting the votes, they use the Democrats, the illegal aliens that come over here, and they just accept that vote from whoever that is, somebody who's dead or whatever. But they harvest the votes, and they get the votes here in the state of California. But actually, on the ballot is the Voting Act actually for California. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Maybe they're going to have actual legal voting. If the Save America Act passes, we'll have legal voting in California. And we might just win this governorship. I'm hoping so. But anyway, so there's a lot still up in the air now. It's still up in the air about Iran and what's going on there. It's still, of course, the governor race is going to be going on for a little bit. There's more time to talk about that. But we have to understand what's going to happen with Iran and what President Trump's going to do over there in the Middle East. Personally, I think it's time they put boots on the ground and just start taking it out because the only people they have left is the ones fighting on the ground. Like they took out that F-15 the other day. But a shoulder harness, rocket-propelled device that they carried on their shoulder, that's what took down the F-15. Now, if that's what the case is, then we need to put boots on the ground, take care of these guys, and start picking them off one by one. Send all the special forces. We have plenty. We have the SEALs. We have Marines, Recon, and I'm really hopped up on the Air Force pararescue after they rescue those pilots. Those guys they're pretty much made of iron, and of course you got the Army Rangers and the Delta Force and so on. So we have plenty of special forces, but then we just have Marines. Send in the Marines. They'll take care of business. But I think we're going to have to put boots on the ground in order to get this thing solved. Anyhow, this is Coffee Break with Jimmy. Please subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Press like and share, please. And I'll see you next time on Coffee Break with Jimmy.